Alrighty. So I figured I would show you guys the run that I did earlier with my guild. I apologize. I don't know a lot about this because we did not struggle. It took us 2 runs to do it. And I got pretty much carried. I also apologize. I didn't have audio for this, so you'll have to go without. So for wave one, oh, I should speak on. I'll just let it run. But the main things that you need reflection, or not reflection reduction. You need the heal up constants, because the boss and some of the waves, they'll reduce your healing basically to 0. And without those heal up constants, you'll just die. And you also need to formulate a team that can clear every single wave ordeal, or else you'll never be able to do enough damage on the third wave. And lastly, you need Himmel, specifically for the third wave. The more Himmels, the better, though. That's what I found out. We basically ran a Himmel every single wave. And we did have a lot of excellent monsters. But to be fair, I think most of us were around only 15 mil, which is not too hard to get. Some of us were even lower than that. I know, I think I was like 12, so not nearly that great. So for the first wave, the biggest thing is you just want to get uni, crack the ordeal, and then as soon as you reach the 50% mark, he should be able to cancel the field. And there he goes, he canceled the field. And you basically just want to stall for this. I mean, you don't have to stall. You could just go through it. I mean, if you were actually speedrunning this and trying to get for the top time, you'd probably need a run where he didn't do that at all. He didn't cancel the field. And you would just have to plow through it. You'd have so much damage that the first and second wave, he wouldn't cancel it at all. And then you would just throw on the third wave. But for like a normal person run, this is what you'd want. A lot of your team, basically the entire team, should have mend, just in case you get low. For morphers, you want to be spamming Shining Aura. And then I was like a backup healer. If the Shining Auras weren't enough, then I have the heal. I know Insanity, at least from what I've been told, again, this was my second run, so I'm not very familiar. I think I even checked on each wave. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, so that mage ability in the top left, that's a mage ability that applies confusion. So I'm assisting. This is a confusion miasma wave. I think you can boost the success rate of confusion using enchantment of the mind. I think it's mind trick or something like that. Yeah, mind trick, and you can get it up to 70%. So I think it starts at 40%. You can boost it to 70%. I'm not sure if the game checks whether or not the monster, so you can technically confuse monsters, even though it basically never happens. You can technically do it. So I'm not sure whether or not whether or not the game only applies that, like, one of the counts. So you have to apply confusion 10 times. I'm not sure if you use the ability, if you have to roll the 70% to get it to check if you can even confuse the target in order to count, or if you can just use Mind Trick, and the fact that Mind Trick has the potential to confuse, if that'll make it count. I have no idea which one is the case. But regardless, some of the most important buffs, obviously Himmel, you want. Fern is really good as well. We're needing, again, to stall out the field. But really, really big unis are Himmel would be number 1. Fern would be number 2. Fern applies the 180 buff. Himmel does the field, and the field is responsible for nullifying insanity. And I think something else, maybe rejection. To be honest, I don't really know, because again, I didn't really have a problem with this one, which is unusual. They're normally a little bit more difficult than this. But what do we have to do here? I think I didn't have to do anything for this. Of course, the weapon abilities on the new for the new weapons, those are really, really valuable. The boss. So what I've found for all of these ordeals is that the boss normally has about 3 times the HP of the first and second wave. That's just my feeling. But the boss definitely has way, way more HP. It also is quite annoying. This boss applies tons of protections to themselves. So as you can see, we're hitting lots of zeros. It's not because we're weak. It's because the boss keeps applying a shield to itself. But other really good monsters are Sam, the monster that I used first. She's like a 41 cost light monster. She is really excellent because she time extends. Seiya, the monster that I just used, this one right here, she's really good because she applies 114% element. And because it is a time monster, you benefit from light and dark. So you're getting essentially 280% attack, magic attack, defense, magic defense boost. That's equivalent to 28 element on your set. So it is quite strong. As you can see, we use Regulus. Regulus is not as good as Fern. Fern is much better. Basically, you want, like I said, you want Seiya, you want Himmel, you want Fern, and then you want Time Extend. Other things that are quite strong are debuffs on the NPC monster. Things like reduction to action speed are quite powerful. Reducing stats, quite powerful. As you can see, it looks like debuffs stick pretty well onto this monster. A lot of monsters just continuously cleanse themselves, and that can be really annoying to get through, but it does not appear that this monster does that. As you can see, a lot of those debuffs are sticking for quite a long time, so those are pretty good. Overcast. That's another one that's really good. There's a light monster that applies Overcast. It's Light Aqua. She's pretty good. Overcast, if you remember, reduces all incoming damage by like 50% and also time extends by, I think, 60 seconds, but it's only after it runs out. So it's kind of a weird monster to use. I'm not entirely sure how valuable enemy fields are, like the bell, the red bells on the enemy field. I'm not sure how impactful that is, to be honest. As a morpher, though, the most important thing is to keep 10 tension buff up. I've seen a lot of posts on Reddit and people asking, like, what does tension do? Tension is a buff specific to Morpher that increases your damage by a percentage based on the number of unique buffs that you have. It's not the value of the buffs, it's the number of buffs. So for example, if you have one like a plus 10% attack, that would count as a buff. And so then you would get, that would count as like one of the buffs. And so the goal is to stack as many unique buffs as you can. So elements are really great because if you have a monster like Seiya that gives you all of the elements, then you're getting, what is that, like 7? Yeah, you're getting 7 buffs to tension right off the bat. And tension can stack up to 40%. So tension is one of the most powerful buffs in the game. If you go during Crystal Assault, if you run with your team and you have one run where you run Morphers and you do another run where you don't run Morphers, you can see your damage about doubles when you have tension buff up continuously. So it is a very, very powerful buff. As you can see, it wasn't too hard. We just pushed through. It took us a little bit longer than I thought it would take. But, you know, it is what it is. It got a little bit sketchy there near the end. We were debating on whether or not to throw Regulus. And I will show my gear, what I was running. Props to whoever is going to win this one. If you do sub 4 minutes, that's a pretty crazy ass run, because every time that you're throwing a uni, you're going to match. And that match time takes about 15 seconds. So right off the bat, you're losing about 5 seconds on the front end of the battle, 5 seconds on the back end of the battle, and at least 3 unis, 1 for each wave. So, 3 times 15, 45, plus the 10 seconds you're losing roughly from waves and other stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's like a 3 minutes of actually being able to do damage. So remember, the big things are the healing constants, and I'm using Stellars as well. Stellars are quite powerful because they, specifically for the other characters, here, let me pause on this. So I am, just about 12 mil attack against time for my magic attack, which honestly is not that great. So if I can do it, just find a bunch of friends that have Himmels and you'll be fine. I think actually most people will probably have Himmels because Himmel was the first light Quaila monster. A lot of people spawned to get him because he's an exclusive collab monster, so he's never coming back. And so I know a lot of people spawned for Himmel, and I know people with 4 or 5 Himmels themselves, like just one person. So if you can get a group, and if you have just one person with 3 or 4 Himmels, then it'll be super easy. Now you do need at least, I would say at least 2 Himmels, but depending on how strong you are, you could probably do it with just one for the final wave. But again, watch out for Insanity. I was talking about Stellars. The special classes like Morpher, those Stellars give you reduction to... I'm blanking. Reduction to incoming status ailments. So you can survive status ailments. You don't get hit by as many. And then don't forget your pets. Set up your pets correctly. And good luck to you guys.